Here we have an article at carlschuker.blogspot.com, written by Carl Schuker, Dr. Carl Schuker, that is, and it's entitled Sky Beasts, Not Spacecraft, Unmasking the UFOs. And Carl begins, "It has often been said that nature abhors a vacuum, and evolution certainly does. Every conceivable niche upon planet Earth has been populated by life forms, on land, in freshwater, and in the seas, beneath layers of rock far below the Earth's surface, even buried within the formless ooze on the ocean beds, and encircling their scorching, water-spewing hydrothermal vents. Yet inexplicably, there is one lone but vast ecological niche that has remained totally untouched by such animate activity. The rarefied atmospheric layers above and encompassing our world. True insects, bacteria, birds, bats, and various other living entities spend varying extensive time in the sky, but there is no known life form that has evolved to live exclusively there, never venturing groundward except to die. There are no sky beasts or cloud creatures, or are there? One of the most intriguing UFO explanations is that at least some of these elusive aerial entities are not alien spacecraft or anything else from beyond our planet. Instead, they are living creatures, huge, fast, and exceedingly fragile, but life forms nonetheless. Highly specialized for an absolute existence, high above our earthbound domain. In my recent book, Dr. Schuker's Casebook, I devoted a lengthy chapter to this fascinating but previously largely forgotten scenario, which has helped to revive interest in the sky beast theory, one that, as will now be seen, is certainly greatly deserving of renewed attention. Down through the decades, a sky beast identity for UFOs has been championed by a number of writers and researchers, of which the most famous must surely be Trevor James Constable, or Ivan T. Sanderson, who spent over 20 years investigating this subject and published 2 books. The first of these, They Live in the Sky, came out in 1958. But the second, The Cosmic Pulse of Light, published in 1976 and then again in abridged form in 1978 as Sky Creatures, Living UFOs, brought this fascinating notion to a much wider audience than it had reached ever before. Constable considered the sky beasts, or critters as he dubbed them, to resemble gigantic unicellular amoebae, but encased in a metallic or mica-like outer shell or capsule, and with the majority of their bodies composed of plasma, the fourth state of matter, comprising an ionized gas. Although some critters may be as small as a few centimeters, such as the rods, others could be several kilometers long and remain hidden on most occasions from humans by virtue of their ability to reflect infrared light, thus rendering them invisible to our eyes, except if they change color, thereby temporarily reflecting light within the electromagnetic spectrum's visible section. Yet even if critters are usually beyond our range of vision, their presence can still be detected. For according to Constable, they can actually be photographed using infrared film and appropriate filters. In his books, he published a number of photos depicting critters stepped by him in the skies above California's Mojave Desert. And one of his acolytes, Richard Taranto, duplicated Constable's attempts in this same locality in 1977, obtaining similar pictures. Their photos have never been exposed as hoaxes and show several different morphological types. These include fusiform entities, giant amoeboid blobs, huge bladder-shaped objects, gigantic discs, and even some with curiously reptilian beaks. Moreover, cinefilms taken by Constable show that these objects change shape as they move through the sky, and sometimes are luminous. Another dedicated supporter of the sky beast theory was John Philip Besser, whose own interest in such a concept was in no small way inspired by Kenneth Arnold's historic sighting in 1947 of a phalanx of 9 UFOs while flying a Calair aeroplane near Mount Rainier in Washington State, USA. What fascinated Besser in particular concerning this encounter was Arnold's belief that what he had seen were living organisms, sort of like sky jellyfish, far removed from today's popular spacecraft image for UFOs. Besser later stated that in his view, UFOs were a form of living creature, which he christened an idioplasm, composed of a highly attenuated substance, enabling them to materialize or dematerialize at will, utilizing telekinetic energy for propulsion. As would be echoed by Constable in relation to his critters, Besser opined that these entities must be capable of becoming visible, invisible, and changing color, all very rapidly. He even submitted his thoughts to the U.S. Air Force, and remarkably was informed by them they considered his notion to be one of the most intelligent theories they received regarding the possible nature and identity of UFOs. Yet another theory of the sky beasts, proposed during this same era of thought regarding UFOs, was that of Countess Zoe Wasilko-Serecki. Authoring a number of articles on the subject, she deemed it plausible that such entities were enormous, glowing, stratosphere-inhabiting creatures resembling gargantuan bladders of colloidal silicones, containing a central core of insubstantial matter, but otherwise composed predominantly of pure energy. She claimed they appeared spherical when stationary, but became fusiform when moving, and so diffuse at higher levels as to appear virtually invisible. In addition, hydrophone inventor John Cage, commenting upon how closely the pursuit of aircraft by UFOs resembled that of dolphins with ships, suggested that some UFOs may be self-aware beings feeding upon negative electricity. In his book, The Circle Makers, veteran psychical investigator Andrew Collins speculated that perhaps some cropfield circles may be created by energy released by biological UFOs when swooping downwards from the sky.